I wrote this a few months ago, and I didn't really have any intention of recording it, but it's something that came up again this morning, and it really kind of got under my skin, and I thought, okay, one final read through for the point and the purpose of catharsis, and I'll put it out there and see if anybody can relate to it. I have a feeling you might be able to, but anyway, so I'm going to read this. Forgive me if I look off camera a little bit as I do it. I'm not a camera guy. So here goes. Miserable, sexless old men, living off their pensions and their wives' inheritances, raging on social media at anyone who dares to disagree with them. They come into every conversation with an air of contrarianism, looking for a fight, looking for a battle, always. All the while, they portray themselves as some sort of gentle and benevolent grandpa figure in their general social media personality. But I believe they think of themselves thusly. They've paid their dues, they've earned those pensions, and they find themselves with plenty of time on their hands. And what do they do now? What happens is it seems that some sort of long suppressed personality begins to bubble to the surface. And with the distraction of the day job and career responsibilities now clearly in the rearview mirror, a whole new person emerges. Likely part of a casting off of keeping an air of responsibility and proper nature, that just that F it kind of attitude now, they can cast that off. They don't have to appease their employers and whatnot anymore. And we all find ourselves there to a degree at a certain age. We stop being so concerned about fashion and trends on TV, and keeping up with the Joneses just doesn't hold much appeal anymore. It's not as important. This situation is a bit different though, and it's really unfortunate how many families find themselves feeling obligated to indulge this new person in their family gatherings. This hybrid that earlier I called the miserable, sexless old men, because that's what they seem like now. So they lash out as if they're popping some zit of lifelong held resentment over something. I don't know. And they feel that they have the right and the responsibility seems, to bully people into accepting their mindset as the only correct one. See, they're very well moneyed at this point. They travel the world and they show photos of their expensive cars and their fancy travel destinations, and they have made it by most people's accounts. And we're supposed to have a reverence for this type of person and their accomplishments, because that's utopia in this money-based society, no? So to measure a person's value or worth to the world by the amount of money that they have accumulated is one of, if not the most shallow endowments you could place on a person. And especially to use this now self-appointed elevation to reign as the arbiter of what should and should not be seen as good or proper is shameful. These folks harbor an incredible amount of bitterness. And no matter who they engage with, they seem to look at every opportunity, every interaction, as a way to flex their rightness and to diminish and insult everyone's intelligence, everyone's motivation, and even as far as your morality. Heaven forbid you should hold religious views around these people, because they will certainly try to tear you down. It may be strangers, it may be family, extended family, or friends. They hold nothing back ever. Their venom flows at all times. And despite that grandfatherly smile and the photos of them with their pets, a real bastard lives inside them. And looking at the world through a lens of carefully selected facts, which we all do from time to time, the hair trigger of their now famous unhinged rants is always ready to fire. When sharing anything on social media, we are left questioning how bad it's going to be when so-and-so goes off. Case in point, I shared a song that I wrote, and this person commented that I haven't done anything original in years. Where did I steal that melody from? Because it was good. I'm barely seen as able to construct anything on my own. And this fella is not a musician. Or another guy I know, he shared family photos from his long-awaited family vacation in Florida over spring break. One of these guys dives into the comments and says, how could you choose the biggest shithole in America for your vacation? Like only the worst of the worst would travel to such a place. Go to Venice, go to Paris, go to someplace classy with your family, treat them to something. I can't imagine what it would be like to live with these people. I honestly can't. In my mind, I call these folks kept men, because in some cases, they are living off their partner's inheritance or whatever. And maybe they feel their masculinity has been compromised by their generation's view of what a man's role in the family is. Not mine, maybe theirs. I really don't know, but the type is very real. And it's real enough to most people who know them to the point that they will avoid conversations and interactions with them in person and or online. Because you know exactly how that conversation is going to turn once that person gets their moment to steer the conversation. And it always comes back around to money, to politics, and matters of intelligence. And for those of us who don't measure ourselves or our fellows by the amount of money in our bank accounts, these folks are absolutely intolerable. What they are is miserable, sexless old men.